Alright. Welcome to Chapter 6 with Deborah and clocks. Let's see what's up, girl. I step off the boat onto Cat Island. I'm full of anticipation about what my first day will bring. 8 hours, 1 journal, and a wild cat chase later. So apparently, this first day brings physical assault and the biggest trauma of my life. Oh, be so scratched. Okay, so that's what it was. It did skip the last time. Save it. I know how this goes, Fluffy. Blah, blah, catification, blah, blah, evasive answers, blah, blah, antidote. Basically, you need my help. Did I miss anything? Wow, you really did read that journal from front to back, didn't you? Front to back. Alright, so it's the same as the last one had. So we agree to help because we're always going to agree to help. I'm assuming that there's an ending that happens when we don't agree to help. Presumably we become B. Or one of the other ones. Alright, so what's the message this time? Don't give the game away. What? Alright, we still know it's Mason from the thing. Alright, cats. Great. Beautiful. Let's go. Let's get to it. Get the end. 80% of that antidote done. What recon we got? Recon 3. Oh, we're gonna follow Mr. Marigold. Let's see what's up. Today's our day off. So it's Sunday. And I'm trying to stay out of sight. The professor doesn't like me being around camp on my downtime. I don't know why, but he's always pushing me off to explore. I feel he wants time without me around to get on with things he'd rather I didn't see. Maybe I'm being paranoid, but he definitely seems shifty to me. So today I have a plan. It means I have to hang around until Mr. Marigold does his mid-morning errands, and I'm not trying to be seen. I don't have too long to wait. He's like clockwork. Every day at this time he leaves the camp, carrying a large bag, and doesn't return until an hour later. I've offered to help him a couple times, but I'm always met with stonewalling. This is the day when I find out what he's up to. I let him get a bit of a head start, and I begin to follow. I tried to use my new catification properties to my best advantage. Stealth, nimbleness, agility. I'm so much fitter than when I arrived on this island. My eyesight and hearing are fantastic. He's headed into the forest, as I suspected he would. That makes it so much easier for me to go unnoticed. We travel for about 10 minutes at a good pace into the densest part of the wooded area. Finally, he stopped ahead, and I can see a type of shack covered in creepers and ivy that make great camouflage. You really wouldn't notice this place from any kind of distance. Outside the hut, he bends down. I think he's picking something up, then he disappears inside. I bide my time, finding a good, out-of-the-way hiding place. After a short while, he reemerges, bends down again, then straightens up before setting off the way he came. When I'm satisfied that he's not going to return, I gingerly make my way to the shack. Up close, I can see it's a sturdier structure than I thought, and the door is locked. I bend down as he did and start looking for a key. It's pretty obvious. There's a large flat stone in front of me. I lift it a little and slide my finger onto the edge. I feel it instantly. I put the key in the lock and take a deep breath. Unsure of what I'll find in here, I open the door. What? It's dark. There are no windows, just a small skylight letting in enough light to see that there are lamps, obviously powered by solar panels on the roof. I turn one on. It takes me a moment to understand what I'm looking at. It's dirty and dingy. There are shelves along 2 of the walls that have cages, and the cages are housing cats. There's an eerie silence. None of the cats are making a sound. I go up to one of the cages to check if they're even alive. Hello, kitty. There's a small cat that I would judge to be between 10 to 14 weeks old. Its eyes are open but vacant, as though it doesn't see me. I go to the next cage, another youngster, and another. My stomach lurches as I realize that these are the kittens from camp that had been released. No! What are they doing to you? Why are you in here? I turn to the other wall and am struck dumb by what I see. More small cats, but in different stages of distress. One has an eye bandaged, and the other eye is weeping with pus. Another has most of the fur on its back shaved where there is an open sore. Another has a bandaged leg, too short as though its paw has been amputated. I begin sweating. Breathing is difficult. I need to get out. I stumble towards the door and fall to my knees outside. I gulp in the cool air and try to focus my thoughts. This is the strongest proof so far that there are secret tests being carried out on the cats. Tests that Professor Pauper doesn't want me to know about. And are they all in on it? The Maricholds are, obviously, but what about Zane? Do I dare mention it to anyone? I need more info first. When I've gathered myself sufficiently, I re-enter this hell house and try to find some paperwork. Anything that might explain what's going on here. I look through the drawers of the filing cabinet in the corner and pull out some of the folders. I switch on another lamp, sit on the floor, and begin reading. They're experiments, obviously, but for what? The data suggests that a large number of chemical substances have been tested on the subjects. Instead of the usual catalog of blood and tissue samples tested to evaluate the cats, the data is all related to the chemical compounds. They're what's being tested. Some of the records go way back, years of data. As I put the papers back, I see the waste products bin. I remove the lid, and it's almost entirely full of empty ketamine bottles. So that's why there's no sound. These animals are drugged out of all lucidity. I don't know if you can hear me, or even if you understand me, but I'm making a promise to all of you that I will get to the bottom of this, and I will help you. Whatever it takes. You will be well and free again. Hold tight, kittens. I will be back. I feel terrible leaving them there, but I know it would be foolish to arouse suspicion until I know what I'm dealing with. I make my way back to camp with a heavy heart, but with fierce determination. Damn. Alright, we need more recon. I need to know what this recon is all about. Try to save our friends, the kitty cats. Let's recon the shit out of this. Recon 12. Alright. We're exploring with Kibbles and McMurphy. They have been excited to show me something for the past week, but this is the first proper break I've had. We're heading further into the forest than I've ever been before. So where exactly are we going, chaps? No idea, Kara. I'm following Kibbles. That is not really the voice. Oh, man. I was just following Deborah. But you're both in front of me. How could I have been leading? Oh, don't trouble yourself, Kara. We're not in any rush today. Just as I'm about to reply, something catches my eye. I instinctively move towards it. From this distance, it looks like black swaths have been cut into the ground. Guys, what is this? Kibbles and McMurphy, who've already wandered some way off, rejoin me, and the three of us stand looking at what appears to be some kind of runway. Skid marks. Ah, of course. I thought it was a runway, but you're right. Well, come on, mi amigos. Where's your sense of adventure? McMurphy has already disappeared into the thick overgrowth that's shrouding whatever it is that the marks led to. Oh! Kibbles and I follow the sound of McMurphy's voice and find ourselves in a small clearing. My goodness. Wow, is that a fighter? We're looking at the wreckage of a crashed two-man biplane. Most of it is covered with vines and other forest growth, but the front half, at least, seems to be mostly intact. Oh, this looks like it's been here some considerable time. Strange how we've never come across it before, eh, Gibbs? Nothing about this island surprises me anymore. Whoa, maybe we'll see some dead guys. Murph, help me out. McMurphy is silent. He has something in his jaws that appears to be caught in the broken propeller and is pulling on it. It looks like some kind of rag. McMurphy? What is that? McMurphy has freed the cloth and is now sitting with it hanging from his mouth. He's silent and still, as though lost in thought. What's up, Murph? What's with that manky scarf? And I can see it now. It is a scarf, old and filthy, but it looks like it was once the type of white scarf a pilot would have worn. You okay, McMurphy? Oh, what's that, Kara? He's barely present. The scarf, is it important? I'm not sure. Stop being weird, Murph. Whispers, Kibbs, shush. It feels like something I should know. Or remember. Remember? Have you seen it before? Maybe. A long time ago. Before here. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Before I came here, Kara, You don't think I was born on this island, do you?
Well, you might as well have been, considering how little you remember from before. It's all going, Grandad, fading away to oblivion.
Kibble's banter seems to have brought McMurphy back from whatever he was dreaming about, and I'm relieved to see the twinkle return to his eye. Okay then, Mr. Smarty Pants, how did you get here?
It's not a very interesting story. I don't want to bore anyone.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right, Cara, let's go. McMurphy and Kibbles head back the way we came. I stand stunned for a second, watching them go. Guys? But they've lost interest. They've already moved on. I look back at the wreckage and realize there's nothing I can do here on my own. I'll have to come back at some point with Floofy Butt. It's exactly the sort of thing he'd love to help me investigate. That's definitely how McMurphy came to the island. He was some Irish World War II fighter pilot type of dude. Ended up getting stuck on the damn island as a cat. Ooh, we do not have the recon open. Alright. Guess we're trying romance then. With Ravenpaw. I have not done a voice for Ravenpaw in a long time. Looks like she's getting healthier. As I propel the salve, I'm distracted by a tiny plaintive sound. I turn around and Ravenpaw is curled up in her cage, motionless. So I resume my work. There it is again, and I realize she's humming. Is that you? I thought you were asleep. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was humming out loud. What is that tune? Oh, it's just the song my mum used to sing for me. I hum it sometimes to sleep. It sounds lovely. Maybe if you taught it to me, I could sing it to you when you're feeling poorly. Ravenpaw frowns at me and buries her face under her paw. Can't sing. I disagree. I bet you have a lovely voice. No. I put my tools down and go over to her. Well, maybe you'd like to listen to some songs instead. I believe this has a music library. I take the catalog from my lab coat pocket. Let me see. How do I work this thing? I haven't used this function before. I fumble with the options until a song called Summertime begins to play. How about this? What is that? It's by Soft Summer. Do you like it? It's catchy, right? It's making me want to claw my eyeballs out of my skull. Let's turn it off then, shall we? I frantically fiddle about with the catalog until the music stops. I think my ears might actually be bleeding. Oh gosh, I'll go get my otoscope and some cotton buds. Not literally, you donkey. Oh right, of course, you were making fun of me. I've never seen Ravenpaw be so open. It's great that she's inching out of her shell, but I'm not sure how best to react. Well, I think I can download more music onto this thing. What would you like to listen to? It's okay. You don't need to waste your data on me. It's not a waste, if it would make you happy, right? Go on. You must have a favorite band. Ravenpaw goes quiet, lost in thought, until finally she mumbles her response. Mad Catters. High tea. I don't want to seem uncool by admitting that I'd never heard of the Mad Catters, let alone of any of their songs, so I give her a knowing nod and start searching the music app. Be myself. Always be yourself. Oh wow, this is loud. Yeah! Ravenpaw smiles and closes her eyes in appreciation. I sit awkwardly, waiting for the racket to end. Ravenpaw looks totally relaxed, her shield slightly lowered. Finally, the screaming stops, and I hurriedly put my catalog back in my lab coat pocket before she can ask me to play something else. Not for you, then. No, I don't get it. I just don't get it. My ears just heard racket, sorry. Don't be. It's good we're all unique. So, cards on the table time. All-time favorite song. Oh, there are too many. You probably wouldn't like any of them anyway. That's not the point. It's your taste, not mine. I showed you mine. Okay, it will always be a Bowie song. Respect. Really? You like him? How could you not? I think it would have to be off the album Hunky Dory. Choice. Which song? I'm feeling flushed with success. This is going better than I could have imagined. Kooks. Cute. If you stay with us, because if you stay with us, you're going to be pretty kooky too. I'm delighted she knows it. Maybe I am a little bit cool after all. I'll see if I can download some of his stuff for next time. Is that it then? I'm afraid so. I should probably get back to work. Ravenpaw looks dejected. If that's okay? Yeah, whatever. I go to resume my work, but the black cat lets out a small sound. Wait. You said you would sing to me. I feel myself go cold, and self-consciousness engulfs me, but I try my hardest not to show it. Well, yeah, if you'd like. If you really want to. I suppose I wouldn't mind. I clear my throat and feel myself beginning to blush. So what shall I sing? Any favorites? I don't know. What did your mom used to sing to you? Oh, crikey. She used to sing lots of things, but I don't know if I can remember any of them. Let me think. Oh, I know. Bounce, little baby, on my knee, soft and pink and chubby. When you awake, you'll have your tea and a bath so you're not grubby. Dream, little baby, on my lap, happy. Here is a kiss for your sweet nose, and now I'll change your nappy. As I sing, I notice Ravenclaw visibly relaxed. She's stretched out a bit, and I realize it's the first time I've seen her uncurl herself. Although there's plenty of room in her crate, she's always a tight little ball of fur in the corner. When I finish singing, she opens one eye. That was traumatic. You should probably get back to your work now. Rude! Ravenpaw makes a small squeaky sound I've not heard her make before. Are you okay? Yes. She's laughing, and so are you. Alright. Time to rest up. 84% of the antidote done. Lovely nap. Energy's restored. Magic! Alright. Do we have another recon? No, right? No. Alright, so let's go back to Ravenpaw. Ravenpaw, the final cat. In the lowest drawer. Right at the back. No, I can't find it, Ray. Are you sure it wasn't in the cupboard? No, it's there. Keep reaching. It might have slipped down the back. You're choking, right? My hand can't squeeze. Oh. Hang on. I feel something nestled just under the bottom of the drawer. I think I've got it. If I could just... I'd try inching it out up the space behind the drawer, but it keeps slipping. Just take the drawer right out. It won't come out. Something is jamming it. Well, give it a yank. Ray, it doesn't work like that. I don't want to break the cabinet. Wait, if I try... I feel around the side walls of the cabinet for any blockages, and my hand finds a cold protrusion. Ah, I think I found the perpetrator. I wiggle the offending item loose and pull my hand out to inspect what's in it. To my surprise, it's a bottle of nail polish in a muted, dusty pink color. I decide not to ponder why exactly there is a bottle of nail polish stashed away in the lab, and focus instead on the task at hand. The drawer slides out with ease now, and I'm able to retrieve the book. Thoughts in Verse by L. Rutherford. Who's L. Rutherford? Ravenpaw casts her eyes down at her forepaws. One of the research assistants before you found this book somewhere along the beach. One of the research assistants before you found this book somewhere along the beach. He used to read to me some of the poems. We never worked out who the author was, but we think they probably came from the shipwreck. This is the first time that I've considered that other humans on the island may have had their own relationships with my cats. I don't like to think about it, but I'm not sure why. I flick through the little brown book. The writing is very faint, but still clear enough to read. About half of the pages are filled with neat words written in ink, and then suddenly it's blank. He didn't finish it, I suppose. It's like the one on page 3. I like the one on page 3. It's really dark. Ravenpaw seems more lively than usual today. I hope that means she's getting better, or at least getting used to me. When darkness advances and silence makes its retreat, the sounds begin where beach and forest meet. Yowling and hissing and awful cries, Then like stars in the blackness, the thousands of eyes. The sea's fierce temper seems kinder than here, the hell full of danger and hardship and fear. There's a long pause. I wonder what it means.
Are you backward?
Well, I know it's describing the island, but I wonder what happened to the author. It sounds rather distressing.
Rather distressing? You humans can be so exhaustingly repressed sometimes. Just think about it. Imagine this place, this island, before the clumsy humans cut a swathe through it and claimed it for science. Before your cozy tents and generators and protective gear. All that time ago. Mysterious and overgrown. Terrifying branches twisting up in the blackness like monstrous golems. The yowling of unidentified animals endlessly boring into your brain throughout the nights, making sleep impossible. No friendly little brook to bathe in, nothing to soothe the gnawing pain of starvation. The filthy baking heat of the day, the restless cold of the long night, the slow dawning realization that there's no escape. This is where the journey ends. This is the final destination. Hell on earth. It's obvious that Ravenpaw has thought about this poem a lot. I feel bad for being so insensitive and human. It must have been horrific. Yes. Be vulnerable, baby. You really put yourself in your shoes, as though you were there. I admire that. How else are you going to understand?
I'm a scientist. I'm trained to stand back and observe, be impartial.
But if you keep a distance, you'll miss the detail.
Oh, I don't. It's about proximity as much as location. Sometimes I have to get up very close, even microscopically close, but I'm still on the outside looking in. I see the finest of details, but I don't think that's what you're talking about, is it, Ray? You mean getting inside, to the heart of it?
Yes, I suppose. It's the hue or innuendo, the essence of something that defines what it is. That's not always obvious from the outside.
Well, it's very obvious in this poem. I wonder why I wanted to shy away from it. I'm not brave like you.
Are you kidding? Or fishing for compliments, maybe?
I feel my face getting hot. I wasn't.
I'm playing.
I'm playing.
You have plenty of courage. You came here to this island. Not everyone would. You've held up well under very difficult conditions. Then there's the whole rawr, cat monster, rawr thing.
I'm taken aback by her sudden impression, and it makes me laugh.
How's that going, by the way?
I shrug my shoulders. Sometimes if I make a little progress on the antidote, I feel really fine with it. But if something I'm trying fails or progress slows down, I have a sleepless night making myself sick with worry. Then there are times when I forget about it altogether. How can I complain when I see what you guys have had to deal with? We're silent for a while. It's not uncomfortable. Eventually, it's Ray who breaks it.
Oh, go on then.
What?
I know you're just dying to read a funny one.
Not really, but there is this little limerick that I thought was hilarious. She rolls her big eyes and smiles. Okay, here goes. There was a young deck swab named Davy, whose hair was exceptionally wavy. I asked him, "Tell pray, what's got it going that way?" He answered, "'Tis drinkin' me gravy." She cannot help but laugh at the awfulness of it, and we both keep laughing till we have tears in our eyes. I suppose I ought to be making tracks.
Okay, but would you just read me the lullaby one as I fall asleep, please?
Yes, I like that one too. I lay out here and watch the stars, and all the world comes clear to me. The patterns soothe my battle scars. They show where I'm meant to be. And while the sea is kind to me and rocks me in my slumber, and all the stars, the nears and fars, o'erwhelm me with their number, I think of you, the brightest star, lost so young, gone so far. And when my final day is done, I'll follow to the place you've gone. Then back together, you and I will brighten up another sky. I look down at the softly snoring cat. She looks so peaceful. Damn, that was good. I really liked that date. Learned something, got to read some poetry, be vulnerable. Let's romance again with our girl. Or boy, whatever. with Ravenpaw. Ray. Trust me, I won't let anything harm you. I've come prepared. Ravenpaw eyes the basket suspiciously, and I realize it looks to her like a cage. Okay, let's rethink this. How about I carry you in my arms? Like a baby? Yes. No, like a princess. A princess? Really? Ravenpaw shoots me a withered look. Well, you know what I mean, right? I can hold this pillow like so, and you can relax on top of it and survey your kingdom. You really are bad at reading people, aren't you? I'm not one of those gullible domestic cats like Fruity Cutie or whatever her name is. If I leave this lab, I want to do it with some dignity, human. Yes, of course. I'm sorry. Maybe it was a bad idea to try this today. Let's do it tomorrow. Oh, come on, Ray. You were so excited about this earlier. Don't give up now. Well, that was then, and this is now. I'm too tired anyway. You're always tired. That's part of the problem. We have to start somewhere, right? Or else you'll never get strong again. Yeah, but what if we see other cats? What if we do? Look, I'll be with you. No matter who we see, you won't have to deal with anyone on your own. Anyone who? Who do you think we'll see? No one. But you said no matter who we see. So you think we'll see someone? No, Ravenpaw, stop this. You'll have to go out sometime. Why not now? I don't know. Ravenpaw looks so sad and tiny that I decide not to push her anymore. Okay, don't worry. We'll try again tomorrow, okay? No. Let's do it. Oh, wow, really? The cat that just seconds ago looked so helpless suddenly looks fiercely determined. Yes, but if you hurt me, human, I will kill myself just so I can come back and haunt you for the rest of your short, miserable life. I suppress a laugh. I understand. I'm just going to lift you now, okay? She is so light, I'm shocked, but I don't show it. I can feel the tremble of her frail body through the makeshift cushion. We've decided a folded blanket would be best so we can use it for other things when we find our spot. Suddenly, Ravenpaw takes a sharp breath. I freeze. What? What's wrong? It's the air. We're right by the water, aren't we? I can smell the change. She laughs. I'm struck by how much this cat has come on since I stopped her treatment only a week ago. She had no sense of smell. It's good, right? Yes, human, it's good. She inhales deeply. It's very good. Would you like to sit down here for a while? We're still close to the compound. No, go on a little further. I want to see it. Take me to the sea. We walk for a short while longer until I find a small collection of rocks that look like a good resting spot. This looks like somewhere Trixie would like. Yeah, she's always drawn to the rocks. Minerals. I miss her. You were friends? Yes, when we were little. Do you want some water? A little snack? I take the picnic out of my backpack, and as I arrange it on the blanket, I decide to gently press her. So, how come you were locked up and Trixie wasn't? I was never really free. I was part of the breeding program. My mother was bred with one of the elder cats, and as you see, us kittens are tagged and set free at 12 weeks. Except we're not. Not all of us, anyway. But I've helped to release the kittens myself. Yeah, sure. What, you actually let them out of the cages yourself? Well, no, but I've prepared them for release, and then they're gone? Yeah, I've never really had reason to question it. I'm getting that sick feeling in my stomach again. So where are they? Not everything is above board as you'd like to think. Alright, so it looks like we should have done this date first, because there's like body parts. We know there's body parts underneath the lab, and we know that there's a cabin full of little kittens that were supposed to get released. Let's see if she'll open up. What happened to you? Alright. You've been doing so well. Really open up. Don't go backwards. You really don't understand, do you? I'm not just some Marty little girl. I am the way I am because of you. Your people. You scientists with your observations and poking and prodding and unbiased opinions. Of course, I'll never fully open up to you, human. You wouldn't know what to do with me if I did.
But if you can't stick a label on it, it doesn't exist. That's what you did with my mom, isn't it? That's how you were able to sleep peacefully after you murdered her. I feel very confused and very guilty, even though I know I'm nothing to do with the things she's describing. I know you don't believe I'm like that, Ray. You're angry and hurt, and I don't blame you one bit for hating us. All of us. But if you didn't think I was different, you would not be sitting out here with me in the first place. She's looking away, so I can't read her eyes. I will never be able to fully understand what it's like to be you, to have your experiences. I'm trying, though. I'm doing everything I can to change things. Not the past. You have to find your way to live with that. But the future. How you live from here on. I want to make a difference. Won't you at least give me a chance? Here's the deal. She turned her head and is fixing me with her huge eyes. If and when you come up with a viable plan, I will do everything within my power to help you nail it. Deal. I raised my hand in a moment of excitement and realized too late that Ravenpaw would never high-five me. She looks at my hovering palm. She looks me in the eye. What are you even doing? I clumsily style it out. Taking you back now. Just taking you back. Alright, so I have no idea if that was actually a good date or a bad date. We won't know until the next date! What's up? What's up, romance? This is it. Whew, come on. Big money, no whammy. Well, actually, maybe we should do... No, because then it would have assumed now we did a recon. Right? And I don't think the list recon is open. So let's do a research, which will... So we do have one research open. Oh, and we're releasing the kittens. So this is all starting to fit together. Alright. So there's kittens outside the tent. They're at a large kitten crate. They seem to be lifting them from their crate into a transporter cage. Ah, Deborah, have you finished all that work already? You really are a marvel. Actually, I'm not even halfway... Oh, wrong voices, but okay. I was just taking a quick break. What are you two doing? Time to be pushed from the nest, so to speak. Oh, already? I thought it wouldn't be until next week at least. Some are faring so well it would be cruel to keep them incarcerated. They have plenty of protection out there. It is a very safe island for the most part. Some, Professor? Who's staying? Just a couple, I think. This chap for certain. He picks up the plump gray male that Trixie insisted we tag. He looks a picture of health to me. I don't understand. Really? But he looks so well. Quite advanced, too. Yes, how deceiving looks can be sometimes. I feel a moment of tension in the air and could swear I saw a look pass between the Professor and Mrs. Marigold. May I ask what's wrong with him, Professor? Yes, of course, Deborah. An inquiring mind is to be encouraged. But alas, an overworked mind is no good to anyone. So I will go through it with you another time when you have less on your plate. I stand for a moment like an idiot before I realize I've been dismissed. Oh yes, I really ought to get back to my cataloging. And as I reluctantly make my way back to my mountain of work, I can't help but feel uncomfortable. I will keep a close eye on that little furball. Interesting. They definitely know that we tagged him then. Because, otherwise why would they keep him behind and not release him into the cabin in the woods that's filled with kittens? Oh, no, we gotta rest. No, choose again. Let's fill up our hearts. We're at 88% of the antidote. Alright, great. Magical sleeping. It is amazing what a good night of rest will do. I think the next story-based game I play, I'm gonna have to start making some tea. Did we open a recon? No. We opened a research then. So let's see what's in our research pool. Yeah. Research 17. Oh, the catalog is going off. Our little cat Pokedex. Interesting. Alright, I was going to pill to see Mr. Marigold's name. His texts are still rather cryptic. I wonder if he knows I figured out that he's the mysterious messenger. I decide not to tell him for the foreseeable future.
Those 3 little kittens are so small and helpless. I don't think they would stand a chance without you to protect them. Keep a watchful eye, Cat Nanny. He's referring to the 3 kittens that Professor Pauper decided to hold back when he let the others back into the wild. Why would Mr. Marigold be interested in the kittens? Either way, I have learned to take these messages seriously, so I make a note to check on them in my lunch break today, just to be sure everything's alright. I decide to take my lunch to the lab. Mr. Marigold let me make a sandwich out of some leftover ham from last night's meal. Hello, my lovelies, here you are, 1, 2, 3, all snoring peacefully. I feel relieved and a little foolish for worrying. I suppress the childish giggle and open one of the cages to give the tagged kitty a cuddle. Hello, Sleepy Pants. I carefully stroke him with my finger as he continues to snooze in my hand. Oh, what's this? My finger runs over a little rough lump on the back of his neck, which elicits a small squeal from the plump gray kitten. My heart stops in my chest, and I quickly move him to the examination table. I gently blow his soft fur out of the way and catch a glimpse of a bright red gash between his shoulder blades. He was too young to be tagged. It's got infected. With trembling hands, I reach for my catalog to scan his tag so that I can erase the information before... Scan failed. No. It's not that it was infected. My original thought was right. It's that they cut it out of him. No tag found. They sliced open your cat. I knew they knew. I knew they knew. I knew it. As soon as I saw your fat cat was there, they knew that you bloody tagged him. They cut it out of the poor thing. Poor little kitty. It's late, well after work hours. Ravenpaw asked me to visit her when Professor Pauper finished his shift because she has something important to tell me. The lab is cold and silent. I can just make out the reflection of Ravenpaw's big eyes. I flip the light switch and the room becomes illuminated with a harsh, dazzling brightness that makes me squint. I came as soon as I could. I had no idea the professor stays up so late. How does he function on so little sleep? Keep your voice down, human. We don't want to draw any attention. Maybe we should just turn off the lights. Sometimes the caretakers do random patrols. Who? You mean Mr. and Mrs. Marigold? I'm sure they're dead to the world right now. You'd be surprised. Anyway, enough chin-wagging. I have something for you. A gift? Of course not, you div. Where on earth would I have gotten you a gift? The local gift shop? Oh, of course. I'm sorry. So what is it? Why? Because I think I can trust you now. I'm taken aback and feel flushed with pride. You can, Ray. I've sworn to help you and I won't let you down. So you want this or not? She pushes her paw towards me and I realize she has something under it. My stomach lurches as I worry it may be a spider or a fly. I hope she's not expecting me to eat it. What is it? Dunno. Thought you might know. As she lifts her paw, I'm relieved to see that nothing is moving, and on closer inspection I realize what it is. Oh, that's called a key. It's used to open things that are locked, like doors or safes. You really are touched. I know what a key is. I meant you might be able to figure out what it opens, but I'm losing hope by the second. Oh, forgive me. Well, where did you get it? Best not to ask. I'm serious, Ray. This key could be important, and if I know where you got it from, it'll be easier to work out what it opens. Ravenpaw eyes me skeptically. I thought you trusted me. Fine. I got it from Mrs. Marigold. Ooh, you mean Mora, the caretaker's wife? She's not the caretaker's wife, you cretin. She's the caretaker as much as he is. Yes, of course, but the key, Ravenpaw? She came to clean my cage last night. Too lazy to take me out of it first, of course, and Mr. Marigold came in and gave her the key. She put it here. Ravenpaw indicates the corner of her cage, because her hands were full. Then they had a huge argument while they were shouting at each other. I used my ninja skills to hide the key under my paw. That was that. She didn't notice? I also find that hard to believe.
She was so worked up about him that she clean forgot about it. Left without even bothering to refill my water bowl.
So what makes you think this key is so important?
Because when he handed it to her, he said, "It's your turn. I'm fed up of being the one who always has to do his dirty work."
Whose dirty work?
Professor Prospero's, of course.
Prospero?
Pooper.
Oh, Pauper. Of course. Look, I have really got to hurry back to my tent now, or it'll be a wreck in the morning. But thank you for this, Ravenpaw. I'll find out what this key opens, I promise.
You'd better.
Recon 18. Recon 18. I think that's the last recon. Alright. It's gonna be a creepy one. Alright, let's rest now so we don't have to do it in between tasks. Great. It's a quick one. No more cat hallucinations. I mean, when we dream. We're at 91.7. Let's final romance it first. Because I'd like to do a nice crescendo, right? So the final romance will be nice. So what shall we read today? I flicked through the little book of poetry in Ravenpaw. Ravenpaw and I have gone through most of the poems. We're dragging them out to one a day now because we're dreading finishing it together. We've got Alone, Love Sonnet, Bonnie Boat, and Hunger. Ravenpaw looks less engaged than usual. She usually perks up when I get the poetry book out, but she's sitting hangdog in the corner of her cage, shrugging at each title. I think we should read a happy poem today, something to cheer us up. How about Bonnie Boat? Ravenpaw rolls her eyes. She hates the silly poems and prefers the dark, brooding ones about stormy seas and missing home.
Just leave it.
What do you mean, Ray?
I don't want to listen to poetry. It's a futile distraction from reality.
This is a first. I'm not sure how to react. I thought she enjoyed our reading time. Ray, is there something you want to talk about? Ravenpaw lets out a heavy sigh.
You wouldn't understand.
I shrug. Try me.
No, you won't understand because I don't even understand. I feel so deeply, yet I can't articulate it at all. It makes me want to scream, cry, laugh, sleep. I feel... Don't waste your time with me. You've got big important human things to do. You don't want to babysit a cat like me.
Ray, I love spending time with you. As soon as I wake up, I feel excited to see you, read poems with you, discuss things with you. You're so unique. You have an amazing insight and a delightfully wicked sense of humor. I'm not babysitting you. I'm your friend. I want you to talk to me when you're feeling down, Ray, because you deserve to be happy, especially after all you've been through here. Ravenpaw still looks frustrated, but she mumbles.
I guess I know which poem I'd like you to read now. Maybe Elle will be able to say it better than I can. Read me Love Sonnet.
Okay. I lack the words to say the things I feel. My tongue is slow and of the humdrum kind. And though my eyes were erstwhile keen as steel, you have eclipsed the sun and made me blind. I do not see the blight that you bewail, the fuzz of fur so soft against my skin. I will not shun the sweet curl of your tail, nor shut the door and never let you in. Our cursed fate has dealt us bitter blows, and yet methinks that mine are far worse by far. For as the nights get colder, your fur grows, while I am left adrift with no lodestar. Is there one would laugh and not feel pity for this poor wretch whose love is turning kitty? Oh wow, it sounds Elle was in love with a werecat? I wonder how that worked.
I knew you wouldn't get it.
I feel like I'm hurting her feelings without intending to, or understanding how. Explain it to me, Ray.
It's not rocket scientist. I mean, it's just... Love is love. You can't choose who you fall in love with, right? If only you could, things would be much easier. But sometimes, love just creeps up and hijacks you, and no matter how much you don't like it and try to get away from it, once it's got you, and there's no breaking free. You make it sound awful, and, well, it is if you're not sure of the person you're in love with. But it can be amazing, too. Obstacles that felt insurmountable before suddenly feeling insignificant. Things you thought you'd never be able to do are done. Poems you used to hate become love songs that sing to your soul. Human, cat, werecat, elder, whatever. Love does not discriminate. It will not be controlled or boxed up neatly to suit our prejudices. So we just have to grow a pair and come clean and see where it takes us. So, I love you. What are you gonna do about that? There was a long silence while I gathered my thoughts, but eventually I am able to say, I love you too. Oh, Ravenpaw, I thought it was just me. I didn't even hope that you would feel the same way. I know we've come close, but I resigned myself to thinking we could never be more than friends, that you wouldn't accept me. You really do go on, don't you? I blush with happiness. I suppose we both do a bit. So I guess we're stuck with each other then. Guess we are. And she smiles the brightest smile I have ever seen on her beautiful face. Yeah, Ravenpaw! And we're at 94.4, so let's recon it up. And then the final research, and then the exciting conclusion. Alright, so Ravenpaw gave us the key. Now we gotta see what's up. Where's this key going? I'm passing Professor Pauper's tent on my way to the lab just as he comes dashing out. We collide, sending both of us sprawling. Oh goodness, Professor, are you okay? I'm up on my feet instantly and offering him a hand. I'm not sure that I am, Deborah. Now I'm worried I've injured my boss. Is that a sackable offense? Yes, it is, Deborah. Here, let me take a look. Where does it hurt? I'm kneeling down beside him, trying to feel his legs. What on earth are you doing? I'm sorry, I thought you were... He cuts over me. I'm fine. Just give me some space, and then you can help me search. Have you lost something? A key. A key? Where did you lose it? He gives me a withering look. If I knew the answer to that... The key wouldn't be lost now, would it, Deborah? I had it in my tent, I think, but it's certainly not in there now. I thought perhaps I might have dropped it out here somewhere. I'm happy to help you look, Professor. It's got to be here somewhere. A thought strikes me. I wonder if this could be the key Ravenpaw gave me. Do you mind me asking what the key is for? The professor suddenly looks at me with suspicion. There's no reason for you to know that. Okay. I was just simply trying to get a picture in my mind. Big, small, silver, brass. I don't think there will be a lot of keys to choose from, Deborah. Any key you find ought to be brought to me immediately, understood? Of course, sir. I'm sure you have chores to attend to. I wouldn't want to hold you up. The professor waves me away as he continues to search the grass around the entrance to his tent. Clearly, this key is important. As I make my way to the lab, I begin to get an idea. It's a bit left field, but this key is clearly securing something important, something that the professor doesn't want me to know about, and that makes me very determined to uncover what it might be. Cutting a convincing-looking key with the equipment in the lab is easier than I thought it would be. I compare it to the one Ravenclaw passed on, and it looks almost identical to me. The thing won't actually work, but that's the point. Okay, here goes. I send the professor a message using the catalog. Me. I found a key in the lab. Could it be the one you lost? Professor Pauper. Send pics, please. I send the professor a photo of the key. Be right there. I don't have to wait long. The professor's with me in seconds. Well done, my dear. Where is it? I give him the freshly made key. He turns it over in his hand. I hold my breath. It's the moment of truth. Will he notice it's not identical? Yes, I'm sure it's the one, but there's only one way to make certain. Thank you again. And she's gone. Psst, quickly, don't lose him. Kibbles appears from under the lab bench. On it, boss. And he follows the professor. There's nothing more for me to do but wait. I don't have to for long. Kibbles is back within 5 minutes. That was quick. How did it go? Quite funny, really. He put the key in the lock and it wouldn't turn. He got more and more red in the face. Then he threw the key into a drawer and stormed off. So? What was he trying to unlock?
Oh, it was the big metal thing in the supply shed.
Really? But the cabinets in there aren't normally locked. In fact, the keys are left in the doors.
He wasn't trying to open that thing. He wanted to open the thing inside it.
Oh, there's something else in there?
Yeah, but I couldn't see what it was because he shooed me away when I got up close.
Well, I think we ought to go check it ourselves, don't you, comrade?
Follow me. I'm the leader.
And he's slinking comically close to the floor. I suppress a laugh. Okay, leader, lead on. We are just out of the lab when the professor calls to me. Deborah! False alarm, I'm afraid. You'll need to keep those keen eyes peeled. Oh, what a shame. I thought our little mystery was solved then. Never mind, though. I'm sure it will turn up eventually. Yes, let's hope so. I'm off to speak with Zane. If you need me, I'll be down at the jetty. Yes, sir. See you at lunch. He strides off with purpose.
The gods of Hologard are smiling down on us. Mission on.
I double-check that there's no one around before ducking into the supply shed. After Kibbles points out the cupboard that the professor was opening, I post him on lookout duty by the door. He's in his element, pacing back and forth and doing quick gotcha maneuvers. It doesn't take long to work out that the filing drawer at the bottom of the cabinet is what the key belongs to. I turn it in the lock and hey, presto, inside are lots of hanging files, and I have no idea what I'm even looking for, so I take one at random. There are two diagrams of two different cats. One of them is labeled Project Felix, subject 26, and the other, Island Cat number 38. There are some research notes in addition to the diagrams. I start to read. Day 215. Subject 26 and number 38 were introduced today. Number 26 was immediately aggressive. The two cats had to be separated before serious injury occurred. Both cats are usually very docile with others of their own kind. Perhaps Island Cats and Project Felix subjects are sufficiently different that they view each other as a threat. I flip ahead a few entries. Day 234. Subjects continue to attack each other on sight. Attempts to breed the two animals naturally do not seem to be working. Artificial insemination was attempted today. Initial signs are promising. Day 301. According to normal cat gestation period, the subject should have given birth by now. It seems as though the addition of the Project Felix subject has extended this time. Day 350. Overnight, number 38 gave birth to a single kitten. The animal is small, black, and sickly. It shows remarkable intelligence in our tests. Day 354. Attempts to introduce the kitten to number 38 have ended in failure. Both the mother and father are inherently aggressive towards their offspring. The remainder of the notes detail the increasingly horrifying experiments performed on subject 26, number 38, and their kitten. Eventually, the adult cats die as a result of the experiments. Day 450. After the death of subject 26, the decision has been made to shut down this facility. 6 is not pleased with what she has read in our reports. The offspring will be moved to the main laboratory near the beach for observation. I'm trembling as I use my catalog to take photos of more of the documents before I lock everything away. I stumble outside where Kibbles is up on his hind legs as if standing to attention.
All good, Sarge.
I can't answer Kibbles. The handwriting on these notes is eerily familiar and my mind is racing. So many signs, suspicions, all coming to light. I daren't say a word out loud, but I can feel a sense of dread creeping into my heart. Kibbles starts to stare at me concerned. I'm fine, Kibbles. I'm fine. Recon expert. Man, all that's left is the last research. Yeah, I'm ready. This is it. This is the end of the game. It's finally time to let the last of the kittens go free. I'm looking forward to the professor giving them... It says scrub in though, that's surgery talk. Returning after a morning gathering specimens, I take a side route onto camp so that I can check up on the kittens. I'm stopped in my tracks to see the large rearing pen is empty, and upon further inspection the small transitory crates nearby are also empty. I'm surprised and disappointed that the professor has released my gray kitten without me. I was so clear that I wanted to be there to see him off. Ah, Deborah, what perfect timing. I was worried you may not be back. The professor snuck up on me, making me jump. Thank goodness. I thought I missed him being released. Are we doing it now? I'm afraid not. In fact, I have some difficult news for you. I feel my stomach lurch. What is it, Professor? Has something happened to Plumpy? I did warn you not to get too attached, my dear. Naming them isn't always a good idea. It all becomes so very personal. However, I fall prey to the same temptations myself. They really are so seductive, which makes situations like this all the more impossible, but I'm hoping you will be able to help this time. Yes, of course, Professor. Whatever you need. Your little Plumpy has run into a spot of bother, I'm afraid. His tests have shown that his kidneys aren't working properly, and although we have tried all the usual treatments, he doesn't seem to be responding well. We think his only chance is to receive a donor kidney from another cat, but before that can happen, we shall need to remove his native kidneys and place him on dialysis for a while to see if he's a viable subject for transplant. Oh, I'm shocked to hear that. Wait, why would you remove the kidneys before placing him on dialysis? That makes no sense whatsoever. She's asking us to help with the surgery for this. Of course, it would be an honor. Okay, yeah, whatever, girl. It is not an honor at all. I'm very confused about why this is the procedure for cats. Plumpy's already been shaved and pre-med, so he's sleeping peacefully. I must say, it is a luxury to have another pair of hands, Deborah. I usually have to do this sort of thing alone. It's a privilege to help, sir. I'm sure I will learn a lot from you. So shall we begin? The next half hour passes in a flesh, sorting out anesthesia, intubation, and finally the incisions, which will determine whether this chap will live or die. I am completely awed by Professor Pauper's skill and professionalism. Everything is done to the highest standard. Finally, we remove the native kidneys, place them in jars of preserving fluid for further testing, and get ready to stitch him up. That's not what happens. What? Instead of stitching him, I see the professor take his scalpel and cut an artery. I cannot trust my eyes and think I must have imagined it, but suddenly all hell breaks loose. We have a bleed! We have a bleed! I have no idea what to do. I knew this wasn't the procedure. I am frozen to the spot. I want to scream. I saw you cut him, but I cannot make a sound. Damn. Deborah, move! We need to stem the bleeding. Yes, I'm sorry. And suddenly I'm doing all the right things, but I feel as though I'm outside myself looking on. The scene is tragic. So much blood from such a tiny thing. Half of it is over me, in my eyes, my hair, and then it is still again. And we've lost him. I'm sorry, my dear. We did all we could. But what happened? A textbook hemorrhage, I'm afraid. It happens sometimes when you're least expecting it. There's nothing that can be done in a situation like that. The one good thing we have left is to take the rest of his organs and put them to good use, to help other kittens. I can't believe what I'm hearing. You want to harvest his other organs? So that he didn't die in vain. It would be wrong not to, don't you think? I'm speechless. I need to get away. Of course, I understand if it's all too much for you. Perhaps you'd like to go and lay down for a bit. I can carry on here. I'm used to it. I don't remember leaving, but I'm grateful to be alone in my tent. Damn, he just fucking murdered the shit out of that kitten. Alright, so we're transitioning. We have a tail. We're vertical slits for eyes. Okay, all that is the same. We're in the deepest part of the forest. Oh no, I ditched the idea of finding an antidote. No. No, I just want to be sure I'm more than ready to go with you. I know I can leave it, and that was it. We left the lab together that night. We've been side by side. Skip this one. It's just noise. You're such a granny. I'm going to turn it up. How did you keep your catalog? Then they know where you is. Wait, so all this, we're just listening to music, and I don't find the antidote because I was too successful at dating cats? What? 97.2%. Wait a second. There's gotta be something else. It's just dots. What the fuck? There's no text. The mineral thing. The forest. Cat, cat, cat. All the cats. It doesn't matter anymore. What doesn't matter? We've been outvoted. Outvoted? It's not fair. You can't vote with that. Apparently we can. I tried to cause a delay, but I was gathering intel to make the vote more informed. The new assistant looks much more promising than any we've had so far. Oh, Kara, you know this plan doesn't work. We've got to stop. We've catified far too many humans already. It is all rather exhausting doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. If you do what you always did, you'll get what you always got. But that's ridiculous. The more we try, the greater the chances of success. Come on, guys, don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. What if this is the one who will free us, the one who will figure it all out? Please, I adore you, my dear, but you really are so naive. Figure it all out. Forgive my merriment, but it was all rather amusing. What's so funny about it? I think what Snooty is saying, Kara, is that humans don't seem to be able to get the right balance to be of much real help to us. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Who's Jack? It's true. They'll burn themselves out with the work. Or just laze about all day, canoodling with cats. Or make rash choices they can't take back. So we need to help them get the right balance. I cannot give up without a fair shot at it. Please. I'm with you. I believe if we monitor them more closely, we may have a chance. Murph, you're a gambler. Take one last punt, eh? How can I say no to that angelic face? Hurrah! Revote! Oh, man. Well, we can just get on with it. I'm missing out on some important beauty sleep. Okay, cast your vote. What? Oh, man. No secrets found? My two dead people, R.I.P. So I didn't get the antidote! What? Meet the devs? Bay team. Alright. Lovely. That's very nice. What the heck, though? Single player, dry trunk. So, alright. So let's figure this out. Anti-hero must be say no. Right, at the start. I don't know what... 2 must be that you let your hearts fail. This must be successful major. Successful thing. I don't know what single player is then. That you just don't... Oh, single player is for the other cat that we had success with. This is with Trixie. This is... What's her name? The sick cat. This is McMurphy. Imperfect 8 must be you failed all of them. You've sacked must be you got fired. And so is there no way to find the antidote? There's gotta be a way to find the antidote. Damn it, now I gotta play this whole game again. Try to figure it out. Damn it.